Thank you for pointing out the Zoom because I would have been really sad. So again, let's come into a comfortable seat. That could be a cross-legged seat. It could be sitting on your heels. You can use a block. You can grab a bolster from outside. So really just making sure you're comfortable here. And bringing your hands to your legs wherever they land naturally. And just start closing your eyes here. Settling into a little mini meditation. Taking this time to check in with your body, with your mind, with your breath. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to change anything. Just being an observer to what is happening today for you. If you start feeling your thoughts wander, see if you can gently direct them back to your breathing. You don't have to push them away or put any judgment on them. Just come back to your breathing, letting thoughts and emotions come up as they do, and also just letting them pass. And then with your eyes closed, start drawing circles with the upper body. Maybe starting out big. The microphone and I, we're not the best friends. I do admit that. And then slowly start making that circle smaller. So each round a little bit smaller until you get to that smallest version of your circle. And then just keep redrawing that tiny circle. You will feel that that comes very much from your hips. And then we will start going the other way around and starting out big again. And then slowly start getting smaller. And then coming back to stillness, let the hands come to your sides, fingertips touching the mat. With the inhale, bring your right arm up towards the ceiling. Exhale, guide it over your head to the left. Bending the left elbow to create a lot of space between the left shoulder and the neck. And then the right shoulder is gently pulling back while the right hip is grounding down. Feel free to close the eyes here. Next inhale brings you back up. Exhale, bring that right hand down. Inhale, left arm up. Exhale, over to the right. Same thing here, finding a bend in the right elbow to create space between the right shoulder and the neck. Deciding if you want to look up to the side or down. And then that left shoulder is gently pulling back while the left hip is grounding. Inhale, come back up. Exhale, left hand comes down. And then slowly switch your legs around if you're sitting cross-legged. If you're sitting on your heels, stay as you are. And then bring your fingers together, interlace them, and slowly just start rotating your wrists here. And then switch direction. And then bring the arms up over your head with the palms facing up, letting the pinky fingers pull down in the back. You'll feel like your palms are reaching up towards the ceiling. And the next exhale releases the hands, let them come halfway down with the palms facing down. And then from here, start bending at the wrists, having the fingers first just pull up and then have them pull inwards. So they are almost trying to get to your head. Spreading the fingers wide, really protecting your space here. Next exhale, let the hands come down, and then we will all come and sit on our heels. If this is not a generally comfortable seat for you, feel free to grab a block and sit on the block. If you do end up sitting on your heels, make sure you're sitting on top of the heels and not in between them. And then by aligning the shoulders over the hips, you're nicely applying more weight on your heels. So we're nicely just stretching the tops of the feet here. With the next inhale, bring the arms up over your head. And with your exhale, slowly start twisting to the right, letting that left hand land on your right leg, right arm behind you. You could use a block behind you to have the right hand on. And then looking over that right shoulder towards the back. You can gently tug your chin here, feeling that lengthening in the left side of the neck. And you don't have to twist far. Really listen to your body, see what it feels like. Next inhale brings the arms up over your head, look up. Exhale, twist to the left. Setting up just as mindfully on this side, see how the body feels. Looking over the left shoulder, maybe tugging your chin here again. And then every inhale lengthens the spine. And every exhale twists you just a little bit more. With the next inhale, bring the hands back up over your head, look up. Exhale, bring the hands down. We will tuck the toes under, coming into a little counter stretch, and then sit back down, making sure all the toes are pushing into the mat, especially the pinky toes like to escape here. And then we again aligning the shoulders over the hips. With the inhale, bring the arms back out to your sides, palms facing down. And again, fingertips pull up and then inwards towards you. And again, you can definitely sit on a block here, make this accessible for you. At the same time, this is just generally speaking a pose that will get uncomfortable. And that's the whole point behind it, because we spend so much time in shoes and other foot presence. So it's a good way to actually give your feet some release. And then we'll slowly bring the arms up over your head and move into a wrist strengthener. So the fingertips move to the fleshy part of the palm. We're going for this clapping sound. So like we're clapping for ourselves and each other here. And if the seat gets or becomes unbearable, feel free to change it and just sit on a block or come back into a cross-legged. So we're embracing discomfort, but we don't want pain. Let's see if we can speed this up. And let's speed it up one more time. One hand will be lacking behind. My left hand is always just like, why are we doing this? And then slowly let the fingers rain down. Come on to all fours and just clap out your feet. And then coming back to stillness, we will do a little bit more for our feet and ankles. So you're gonna cross the right leg over the fleshy part of the calf muscle. The left toes will be released, and you will slowly walk yourself back and sit as much as possible on that left heel. And yes, this will not be feeling good. And that's the whole idea. The good news is we will only be here for about 5 breaths, not 45 minutes. So could be worse. And see if you can just breathe through whatever is happening here. This is actually based in Chinese medicine that has the idea that a lot of pain in the knees and the hips and the body and also digestive issues actually stem from instability and not good mobility in your ankles and your calf muscles. So this is what we're doing. And yes, I'm talking you through it so you don't think about what you're doing. Let's slowly come out of it. And we'll do the other side. So left leg over that fleshy part of the calf muscle, and then slowly sitting down on that right heel as much as possible. And again, you could use your blocks under your hands here for some extra support. Always using the props. Breathing in deeply. And then slowly come out of it. We will do a second round, slightly different. So this time, bringing that right foot just above the heel. So at this, like at the thinnest part of your leg, and then sit down on your left heel again. And again, feel free to use the blocks here. This might be a big stretch for the top of that left foot. I'm definitely feeling it too. Take 5 breaths here. all the way into the belly, all the way out. And then slowly come back forward. And we'll do the other side. So left leg over the right, and again on that thinnest part of the leg. And then slowly sit down on that heel, weighing down on it. I was foam rolling yesterday for the first time in like weeks because it's my other nemesis. And that feeling is very similar to that. So encouraging you to foam roll more often, basically encouraging myself with this. Ah. And then slowly come out of it. You can just tuck the toes under, or you can clap the feet out again, depending on what feels best to you. And coming back to stillness, extend the right leg out to the back, keeping the foot on the ground, and just start rocking back and forth with the right heel. Really imagine your right knee crease is moving up towards the ceiling. So you're fully expanding that right calf muscle. The top of the left foot is grounding into the mat. And if you find a spot that feels extra good or just extra tight or just feels like it wants a little bit more attention, feel free to dive into that. And slowly bring that right leg back in. Extend the left leg out to the back. Same thing on this side. So rocking back and forth. The top of the right foot is pushing down into the mat. And really imagine that left knee crease is trying to lift up. This nicely counteracting the sitting we're doing when we're driving at our desk, or even when we're gardening and we're bent in the knees. We rarely give that calf muscle the full stretch. And then slowly bring that left leg back in. Extend the right leg back out, this time lifting it up, keeping the right hip level to the ground, shoulders over the wrists. With the next exhale, bring that right knee in towards your chest, maybe nose to knee. Inhale, extend it back out, drop the chest in between the hands, and bring that knee back in. And we're flowing between the two. And then slowly bring that right knee back in. Extend the left leg out to the back, keeping that left hip level to the ground. And then with the exhale, bring the left knee in, nose to knee. Inhale, extend it out. Drop the chest in between the hands. And we're flowing between the two. Exhale for the crunch. Inhale for the drop. And slowly coming back to center, coming back to all fours, aligning the wrists and the shoulders, knees and hips. With the next inhale, right arm moves up to the sky, look up. Exhale, thread the needle. Letting that right arm melt down, left arm can stay as is. Maybe you're walking it out to the front, maybe even over towards the right side of the mat or taking a bind. I'm minimizing my own movement because I can't handle the microphone making noises. So you guys just stay where you are. Feel free to close the eyes here. And then if you walk that left hand out, bring it back in. Use your next inhale to bring the right arm all the way back up. Look up. Exhale, bring it down. Inhale, left arm moves up. Look up. Exhale, thread the needle. Deciding what you want to do with your right arm. Maybe it's the same as you did on the first side. Maybe it's different. Whatever you choose to do is perfect. Feel free to close the eyes here again. And then bringing that right hand back in. If it walked out, use your inhale to let the left arm come all the way up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring it back down. And then aligning the hips above the knees again, tops of the feet pushing into the ground. We'll move into a puppy pose. So walking the hands forward. If it works out for you and you can grab the front of the mat, you can basically be pushing into that mat and use that as resistance to drop the chest, drop the belly, but keep pushing the hips back, feeling that big stretch in the lats, the shoulder blades. Maybe the chin or forehead is on the ground. Maybe you're resting on a block with the forehead or the chest. So again, making this your own. And then if you're holding on to the front of the mat, slowly let go of it and then walk yourself all the way back up. Tuck the toes under. Use your inhale to lift the knees so they're hovering just above the ground. Feeling the core engage here. Keep breathing. So we're holding the movement, we're not holding the breath. And then the next exhale, lift the hips up, coming into a first downward dog. Using this time to take inventory of the body. How is everything feeling? You could be moving here, you could be in stillness. Again, listening to what your body is asking for. If you feel like there's a lot of rounding in the spine, maybe bend your knees a little bit. And with your next inhale, Slowly sweep forward into a high plank, drop the hips to a hover, come into a modified upward facing dog. So keeping the toes tucked under, and then use your next exhale to pull the hips all the way back up. We will move back and forth between the two and just going with your own breath, slowing down the movement. When you come into the end poses, maybe holding your breath for a moment. Just a little addition, nothing you have to do. Maybe it feels good to close your eyes while you're going through that little flow. And then next time you're in your downward dog, stay in your downward dog. Maybe bring your feet about mad width apart, so have a nice wide-legged stance. And then just start moving your hips from side to side. Might nicely go into the IT band, feeling it all the way into the ankles. And then coming back to center, keeping that wide stance with the feet. Walk your hands to your feet, ending up in this forward fold at the back of the mat. You could grab your block here and bring your block underneath your heart, so basically towards the middle of the mat. Bringing your left hand onto the block or the mat. So we're bending the left knee here, keeping the right leg straight. That left palm is pushing either into the ground or the block. And then the right hand comes to your right hip, maybe looking up towards the right shoulder or the ceiling. Check on the left shoulder, making sure it's gently staying tugged in. And you can stay here, or you could let the right arm move up towards the ceiling. You can play with straightening both legs or keeping that left leg bent, depending on what feels best to you. And if at some point having that right arm doesn't feel good anymore, you can always bring it back to your right hip. Remembering that no choice we make has to stay a choice we make. And then slowly bring that right hand down. Put it where your left hand was. Bend the right knee, straighten the left leg. Bring the left hand to your left hip, looking up towards the left shoulder or left elbow. Then again, either staying here or letting that left arm move up towards the ceiling. Slowly bring that left hand back down, straightening both legs, hold on to the opposite elbows, and just let your forearms be pulling down towards the ground. Let the head hang down heavy. What can you let go of? And then slowly bring the hands back to the ground. Heel toe your feet. to about hip width distance. And then walk your hands out to the front, coming back into a downward dog. Next, inhale, lifts the right leg up high. Exhale, step that right foot in between the hands. Drop the left knee, release the back toes, and then keep the left hand on the ground. Inhale, right arm moves up towards the sky, easy twist. You can have that left hand on a block, maybe looking up or looking down or somewhere in the middle of the two. And then imagine your whole chest is facing the right side. So nicely twisting to the right. If having the arm up isn't working, you can always bring that right hand to your right knee and twist from here. And then slowly bring that right hand down, but bring it to the inside of the right foot. This will be a little bit of a tight stance. The right leg is pushing into the right arm and the arm into the leg. And then with the inhale, bring the left arm up towards the sky. Again, maybe you're looking up towards that left arm. Maybe you don't. And then you have the option to stay here, or maybe bend the back knee, grab that back foot. It's a great way to cause a cramp in your hamstring. It does it to me every time. So again, wherever you are, and also like if you can't reach it, you can always just keep reaching towards it. So it doesn't matter where you're at on your journey. Think about that, at least you're not struggling with a microphone while you're doing this. And then from wherever you are, that left arm comes back down, the left foot comes back down, framing that right leg with your hands, plank the back leg, and then step your right foot to the back of the mat, coming into a high plank. And then from here, you have the option to either move through a belly cobra, move through chaturanga, or move straight to your downward dog, which is where we will all meet. Next inhale, lifts the left leg up high. Exhale, step that left foot in between the hands. Right knee comes down, releasing the back toes, keeping the right hand on the ground or a block. Inhale, lets the left arm move up, coming into our easy twist on this side. And again, if having the arm up here isn't working, bring it to your left knee and use this to help you twist further. Breathing wherever you are. And then slowly bring that left hand back down, bringing it to the inside of the left foot. Let the right arm move up. And then here again, the left arm and the left leg are pushing against each other, creating this isometric movement. Maybe looking up, maybe to the side or down. You can always double up the mat for the right knee to give some extra support. And then option 1 to stay here or start bending that back knee, either reaching towards it or grabbing that foot and then pulling that foot in towards you. One side might be better than the other. I admit this is my better side. Wherever you are, Listen to the thoughts that come up. Listen to your mind. Where does your mind go in those poses? And then slowly releasing that foot if you're holding onto it, bringing both hands down, framing that left foot. Let's plank the back leg and then step the back foot to the front of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Arms come up over your head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, arms move out and up. Exhale, swan dive down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Step the right foot to the back. Step the left foot to the back, coming into a high plank. You can always bring the knees down for some extra support here. Maybe lift the feet up. We're here for 5 breaths, wherever here is for you. And then the next exhale lowers us down to the mat slower than you want to. And you can do this from the knees or from your high plank position. Inhale to come into a swings pose. So aligning the elbows underneath the shoulders, lifting the sternum, lifting the chest. Feel your shoulders pull back and down. Tops of the feet can push into the mat to activate your quads here. You will know the activation is happening when your kneecaps are gently lifting off the mat. Feeling that little stretch in the belly roof. Next exhale brings you back down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders. Take an inhale here, and then with your next exhale, coming into a baby cobra or coming up higher if it feels okay for your neck. You can also always come back to swings here. So again, choosing what's right for your body. If you are in any cobra variation, dropping the shoulders back and down, hugging the elbows in tightly. And wherever you are, we're here for 5 breaths. Next exhale lowers you back down. Tuck the toes under. Inhale guides you either through all 4 or high plank. Exhale to downward dog. We're here for 5 breaths. Pushing into the thumbs and index fingers, dropping the head, dropping the belly and chest. Next inhale, lifts the right leg up high. Exhale, step it through in between the hands. Keeping that back knee lifted. Use your inhale to come up into a high crescent. That back knee could always come down for a supported variation, just coming down like this and then staying here. If having the hands above your head doesn't feel good, you could always bring the hands to heart center or even to your hips. Then we're going to do a little bit of play with the back foot. So if you're lifted with the back knee, See if you can come onto the top of the back foot. This is another one of the ones that are just not comfortable, and they just probably never will be. But that's what we're here for, to embrace the discomfort. If that back foot is in that weird position, slowly release the toes and sink back into your high crescent, embracing the struggle. And then from here, let's bring the hands down. Step that right foot to the back of the mat, high plank, moving through belly cobra, chaturanga, or straight to your downward dog. 5 breaths in your downward dog. When you get there, remembering that child's pose is always a great option as well. And the next inhale lifts the left leg up high. Exhale, step it through in between the hands. Inhale, coming up into your high crescent or your variation with that back knee down. Wherever you are, we're dropping the hips, choosing where you want your hands to be. And then maybe taking that variation by coming onto the top of that back foot. And again, nothing that has to happen, just suggestions. Tugging those back toes back under, sinking deep into your high crescent wherever you are. And then slowly bring both hands down. Step the left foot to the back of the mat and come back to your downward dog. Next, inhale, come up high onto the tippy toes. Exhale, bend the knees slightly, and then step your right foot in between the hands. Left foot comes down at about 45 degrees facing the left. We're coming into a warrior one. You can always have more of a train track stance, or you can have the heels aligned. And then imagine both hips are facing forward, like the headlights of a car. Bending deeply into the right knee. Hands can be at heart center, hips or up over your head. So again, choosing what works for your body. See if you can lift all 10 toes off the mat. And then slowly bring them back down. I am very much enjoying some of the facial expressions I can see in the mirror. And then from here, with the next exhale, open up into a warrior two. So you can widen the stance, and the knife edge of the left foot is parallel to the back of the mat, sinking deeply into that right knee, letting the right knee move outwards, not inwards, most importantly. Dropping the shoulders, looking towards your right index or middle finger. And again, can you lift all 10 toes? And then put them back down. If you're wondering why we're doing that, it's to make sure the toes are not cramping into the ground, and we have equal weight in the heels all the way throughout the feet. Next exhale brings the right forearm to your right thigh. Let the left arm move up towards the ceiling or over your head. And kind of bringing the biceps close towards your ear. And again, this hand could stay here. It could even come to your left hip if that feels better and more aligned. The next exhale brings you all the way up. Straighten the front leg, right arm moves up. The left hand can be on your back leg or your lower back. And then slowly pushing the hips back, move into a triangle pose. So the right hand can come anywhere between the knee and the ankle. You could use a block on the inside of that right leg as well to bring the hand onto the block, using my imaginary block here. And then the left hand can stay where it is on that left hip, or maybe move up towards the sky. If it is moving up, you're aiming to have a straight line from your left fingers to your right fingers. So this is basically one of the few times where I do enjoy having a mirror, because it really helps you to see if this is what's happening, or if it makes more sense for you to bring that left hand to the hip. Because otherwise, I regard the mirror in any kind of setting as my nemesis, because it takes away the feeling. And then we'll slowly bend into the right knee, bring both hands down, lifting that left heel, step the right foot to the back, coming into your downward dog. Next, inhale, lift the left leg up high. Exhale, step it through in between the hands. Right foot comes down at the 45 degrees, and we're coming up into our warrior one on this side. So again, the right hip is gently pulling forward. You can always use your hands to manually adjust. And then we're sinking deeply into that left knee. That right heel is really grounding into the mat, so the back heel. And then choosing where you want the hands to be. Maybe lifting all 10 toes up again, and then putting them down one by one. And the next exhale opens up into warrior two. Again, maybe widening the stance, letting that left knee gently point out. Looking towards the left index or middle finger, dropping the shoulders. If you feel like your shoulders keep creeping up, maybe bring your palms up for a moment and then have them face back down. Nice little self-adjustments. Next exhale brings the left forearm to your left thigh. Right arm either on your right hip up towards the ceiling or over your head facing forward. Creating a lot of space between the left shoulder and the neck. And by pushing the forearm into that leg, you're also creating more space between the left side of the body and the leg. So you're kind of pushing yourself away from there. Next exhale brings you all the way up, straighten the left leg, looking up towards that left hand. And then slowly push the hips back and move into your triangle pose. Again, maybe using the block on the inside of the left leg or having the hand anywhere between ankle and knee. Right hand can stay on your hip or move up towards the ceiling, gently pushing the right hip back and right shoulder back. So imagine you're trying to bring your whole upper body against an imaginary wall behind you. Additionally, even though we say straighten that left leg, that doesn't mean you can't have a micro bend or even a big bend in it. So again, we're always adjusting the asana to the body, not the body to the asana. And then slowly bending that left knee, bring both hands down, framing that left foot, lift the back heel. Step that left foot to the back, drop the knees, come into a child's pose, or move through chaturanga. Not gonna stop you. Breathing into your lower back here. And then we will slowly come back up onto all fours. Swing your feet out to one side and then sit down on the mat. Gonna extend the left leg out long. Bring the right foot in, anywhere between the knee and the hip crease. That left heel is pushing into the ground and the left toes are flexing towards you. And then framing that left leg with your hands. Slowly start walking yourself out forward here. You could always bring a block on top of the left leg and have your belly or chest rest on that block. Maybe you're on your hands, maybe you're on your forearms. Melting down towards that left leg. And then slowly come back up. Extend the right leg out. Bring the left leg in, setting up the same way on this side. The right heel pushing down, right toes flexed. Framing that right foot so your chest is facing the right knee. And then we walk the hands out. Again, you could use your block here on top of that right leg. Relaxing your gaze down towards the ground. And then slowly come back up. Bending both knees, bringing the feet about mat width apart, so nice wide stance. And bringing the hands behind you on the ground. And just slowly dropping the knees to one side. And then over to the other side. So you want that wide stance to allow the inner knee to come all the way down. And just go a couple times back and forth. And then coming back to center, we'll straighten the left leg, straighten the right leg, coming into a straddle. And you can slide forward, allowing yourself to come into a slightly wider straddle. Then again, the heels are pushing down, the toes are flexed towards you. And we're first aiming to have the shoulders over the hips and just letting the hands land wherever they land here. Having the knees point up as much as possible. And then the next exhale, the hands slide forward towards your feet. They can either land somewhere on your feet, or you could bring them out in front of you, either with the palms or coming onto your forearms. So you can play with the versions and just see which one feels best to you. And by best, I mainly mean which one gives you the most sensation, the most stretch, which one makes you feel the most. And slowly coming all the way back out wherever you went. Bring the bottoms of the feet together. You can bring the hands to your ankles, big toes, or maybe interlace the fingers and cup the big toes. And we will just draw some circles here. And then go the other way around. And coming back to center, we'll make our way onto our back. If there is anything else that you feel like doing, feel free to do so, or just move into your Shavasana. So if you're moving into your Shavasana, bringing the feet mat width apart, letting the toes fall out to the sides, really relaxing, letting the arms rest on the sides of your body, palms facing up, giving the armpits some room to breathe. So feel free to take up some space here. Closing the eyes if you haven't already. Just letting yourself melt into this final part of our practice together. The time to absorb the nutrients of our practice. And then from here, slowly start wiggling your fingers and your toes. Let the movement spread out into your arms and your legs. Bring your legs together, bring your arms over your head on the ground, giving yourself a big, big stretch like you just woke up from a little nap. Maybe grabbing the opposite wrist, coming a little side stretch, and then the other. And then bringing the knees into the chest, hugging them in tightly. Really hug yourself like you love yourself here. And then slowly letting go of the knees and roll onto your right side. Letting the head rest on your right hand or your right arm. Left hand is just here to support you. And then with the eyes closed, use the strength of your arms to bring yourself up into a seat. Bringing the hands to heart center when you arrive here. Feeling the connection of the thumbs to the sternum, to the heart space. Gently drop the chin down towards your chest. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be kind. Namaste. Thanks for joining me for practice today.